Good morning, boys and girls. Today is the beginning of our last week together, and we're starting that on a Tuesday, aren't we? And if we look at our calendar, it's Tuesday, May 26th, 2020. We have had quite an adventure together. Let's cross off the date and get ready for another week. Today I'm going to combine two things, spelling and your vocabulary words, because we're short a few days this week. So the spelling words are two-part words this time. It's when you slap on your leg, you'll hear two parts to that word. And I'll show you how we divide it into those syllables as we look at the word and then divide it, the first syllable and the second syllable. The first word is apple, A-P-P-L-E, apple. And that is divided between the two P's. So that means that's where the first syllable and the second syllable, that's their part. If there's two letters that are the same, you always divide between those two letters. The next word is table. Now, table has two parts, but the first part ends in a vowel. And when the first part ends in a vowel, that's where we divide it. Table. So apple is a closed syllable and table is an open syllable. Open always ends with a vowel. Purple, one of my favorite colors. P-U-R-P-L-E, purple. Now here we have two consonants together and they are not the same, the R and the P, but that is where we divide it, purple, into two syllables. All right, circle, C-I-R-C-L-E. Here's another word that has two consonants together between their parts, circle, and that's where we divide it between the R and the C. That also is closed. So we have apple is closed, table is open, purple is closed, and circle is closed. That means the syllable ends with a vowel, that's open, or a consonant, that's closed. Our next basic word is turtle. Turtle. We also have two consonants together at the end of the first syllable, and that's where we divide it between the R and the T, turtle. The last word that we have in our basic words is title, T-I-T-E-L. Now here's an open word, T-I, that's the first syllable, title. And that's where we divide it between the I and the second T, title. So that's an open syllable. All right, these are tricky to spell. You have to do a little practicing. Do your best. You did so well so far this year. Since we've been at home, you've been spelling your words just beautifully. Now we have to have two words that are review. We've already had them. We're also going to divide these two words. The first one is happen, H-A-P-P-E-N. It is also a two-syllable or two-part word, happen. The rule is always divide between the two consonants, the P and the P. So happen ends with a P in the first syllable. That makes it closed. And the next review word is begin. And you hear that long E, begin. So we divide it between the E and the G, begin. That is an open syllable, ends with a vowel. Now our high frequency vocabulary words, one is certain. Certain is also a two-part word, certain. Oopsie, I almost spelled that wrong. C-E-R-T-A-I-N. certain. Here's what it looks like. Now think to yourself, where do you think we'll divide this? Certain. Between the R and the T is correct. Certain. The next one is minutes, and it has a silent letter, so we'll look at that. M-I-N-U-T-E-S, minutes. Minutes. You don't hear a U in there, do you? Minutes. Minutes. You divide this between the N and the U. Minutes. Okay, those are your spelling words for this week. I'd like you to do the B sheet, which is page SP 117 and 118, and also to write your sentence. We ate a red apple. All right. We has to start with an uppercase W. We. And we're practicing the word ate again. We had that word a little while ago, and some people had really good luck spelling it, and some had a little difficulty. A-T-E. We ate a red. Now you know how to spell red already. That makes it really easy. We ate a red apple, and there is the spelling word. Red is a describing word, and that tells us the color, doesn't it, of the apple. We ate a red apple. So there is 1 point for uppercase W, 2 for the word we, 3, 8, 4, a, 5, red, 6, apple, 7, period. So if you get it all right, you get plus 7 over 7. Remember how I score that on our spelling tests? I think that's going to be kind of a nice, easy sentence to learn this week. So good luck with that. And next I'd like to go over the vocabulary words and then the vocabulary story. First word we have today is a two-part word, and so that means it's a compound word, daydream. It's a dream we have during the day. We might sit and think about something that we like or something that we are thinking about, worrying about, or just want to do. Spelling word alert, certain. I am certain the sun will come out again. Another spelling word alert, minutes. There are 60 minutes in an hour. Oh, I've got to turn my computer a little bit so that you can see minutes. There it is. Begin. You know that word too as a spelling word. Begin. I will begin the vocabulary story soon. Brought. He brought his teddy bear to the sleepover. Brought. Visit. I like to visit my grandchildren. Visit. Cancel. This is a word we all know about. They had to cancel school because of the virus. Cancel. Straight. You'll hear teachers say this all the time. Please make a straight line. And the last one, around. We went around the block on a nice walk. Around. Now you're going to look at these 9 words and put them in ABC order and then write them into your word journal. Next year when you go to 2nd grade, Mrs. Anderson likes the word journal because it helps you with many words, so you can always take it to 2nd grade to help you spell those words. All right, now I have a robust vocabulary story that's, well, it's kind of funny. It's called A Goat in the Garden. And this is a tale from Mexico. That's the country that is to the south of the United States. Now, here are some questions to think about. Have you ever picked vegetables from a garden? What did they look like? What did they taste like? This is good for this time of year with the spring and our beans and everything. So here we go. Once there were two farmers named Paloma and Pablo. Behind their home, they had a fantastic garden. Now, fantastic is one of our new vocabulary words, and it means to be wonderful or great. They grew many kinds of nutritious vegetables. Paloma and Pablo cultivated their garden with love and were very proud of it. One spring morning, when they went out to water and weed the garden, Paloma and Pablo saw a billy goat eating their chili peppers. Pablo waved his hands and shouted, "Para! Stop eating our peppers!" But the goat just kept eating. Then Paloma tried to order the billy goat out of the garden, but the billy goat would not budge. The billy goat said, "Munch, munch, chilies for lunch. I'll keep eating, I'm not leaving." Then the billy goat started eating the corn. "I know what to do," said Paloma. "Let's ask the rooster to help us." So they went to the rooster and said, "Oh, rooster, please help us get the billy goat out of our garden. He was eating our chili peppers, and now he's munching on our corn. Our vegetables were plentiful, but soon we'll have none if that billy goat keeps eating." Now, the word plentiful is a robust vocabulary word, and plentiful means there's a lot of something. So the rooster went to the garden and tried to scare the billy goat off. He crowed loudly, "Cock-a-doodle-doo!" But the billy goat lowered his horns and tossed the rooster out of the garden and said, "Yummy, yummy, corn in my tummy. I'll keep eating, I'm not leaving." Then Billy Goat began to eat the tomatoes. "I know what to do," said Pablo. "Let's ask the pig to help us." So they went to the pig and said, "Oh, pig, please help us get the billy goat out of the garden. He was eating our chili peppers and corn, and now he's on to our tomatoes. What will become of our garden? He's a very stubborn goat, and he will not leave." The word stubborn means is not willing to change his or her mind. So the pig went to the garden and squealed loudly at the billy goat to scare him off. But the billy goat was not scared of the pig. He lowered his horns and tossed the pig out of the garden. He said, "Sweet, sweet tomato treat. I'll keep eating, I'm not leaving." Then the billy goat began to eat the potatoes. Pablo and Paloma were wondering what to do when they heard a small voice say, "I can help you." It was a little ant. "How can you help us?" said Paloma. "You are just a tiny ant." "Just watch me," said the little red ant. She climbed up the billy goat's back leg and walked up along his back. Then she crawled up the billy goat's neck and into his ear. She bit the billy goat on his ear as hard as she could. "Ouch!" said the billy goat, but kept on eating corn. So the little red ant bit him again and again. "Ouch! Eek! I feel weak. I do believe it's time to leave," said the billy goat, and he ran out of the garden as fast as he could. Paloma and Pablo fixed up their garden and planted more seeds. With sun and water and time, the plants blossomed. Soon there were vegetables once again. And whenever the little red ant visited them, she was given all the food that she could eat. So now let's look at some of the questions we have for these 2, 3, 4 pages. See if we can remember the story. What is the billy goat eating in this picture? So that's where he started to eat, was the chili peppers, wasn't it? What do Paloma and Pablo do? Well, they shout at it and they try to get it out. Does the billy goat leave? And the answer is no. How does the rooster try to help? Well, the rooster crows, but it doesn't bother the goat at all. The goat does not stop. How does the pig try to help? Well, he tried to squeal him out of the garden, didn't he? But look what the goat did to the pig. Now, the smallest of creatures in this garden came to help, and that was what? What was the smallest creature that came to help? And it was the little red ant. How does the little red ant help get the goat out of the garden? Well, she gives him a little bite, but that doesn't do any good. Then she gives him many bites, and the goat leaves the garden quickly. What do Pablo and Paloma do for the little red ant? The little red ant was kind of their hero. Whenever she came to the garden, she got to eat her fill of vegetables. So that's the story of the goat in the garden, a Mexican story. All right. For your stapled work packet today, you have a couple of pages to do. The first one looks like this. It's actually a grammar sheet, and it is about adverbs. An adverb tells more about a verb. So what it means is when you say, like for instance, Henry spoke, and if you add an adverb to it, Henry spoke sadly. The adverb word usually ends with an ly. It tells how they did it. So, oh, there you can hear my Ruby. She's barking. She's announcing that my husband's coming home. On the second page that I want you to do, you are to look at the vocabulary words and use them in the sentences below. You've done that a lot of times. The phonics sheet, you're going to fill in some words on the top. Those are opposites. And you're going to do a coloring according to the directions on the bottom. All right, that's our lesson for this morning.